Principle number one, responsibility to the profession, includes things like procedures, policies, and laws. Every school has a set of systems in place meant to alleviate and remediate different types of emotional, social, and behavioral issues that might arise. It's important to understand the avenues and the professionals in place that are meant to take place in this process. Policies and laws can include things like 504s and IEPs, which are individualized learning plans meant to accommodate and meet the needs of your unique students or learners. This is one of the most critical aspects of your legal obligations in the classroom because it's important not only to understand who these unique learners are on your roster, but also what's needed to accommodate their learning in an effective way. Regulations are another aspect of responsibility to the profession. And this can be things that are as simple as the bell schedule and taking accurate attendance. It's important to understand or know who's in your classroom and who's not. It's also important to understand that bell-to-bell instruction is one of your primary goals on a daily basis. And that means starting instruction at first bell and teaching all the way to last bell. It's easy to fall into a pattern of allowing students to stand at the door waiting for the bell, packing up 10 minutes early. But understand that setting this type of precedent and setting this type of routine can lead to major issues dealing with in terms of expectations for ending class. So make sure that you establish these expectations early, and it'll become a lot easier to remediate and reinforce this expectation as the year goes on. Last part here is personal health, making sure to take care of yourself, being aware of your own mental, emotional health, and recognizing the days when perhaps your most effective place is to just take a day off. Responsibility for professional competence, number two. This is in regards to high standards of practice, and it's one area that we're going to focus on a lot this year. This is in regards to things like academic standards and knowing what to teach and how to teach it and package it. It's also about advocating for your students. Realize that you have these students on a daily basis for about an hour a day, and you might see these students in ways that other professionals around the building do not. And so if you see something that is perhaps lacking or can be added or supported, make sure that you advocate for students and make sure that again, you understand the avenues that you need to take in order to do so. In addition to your teaching, you might have additional responsibilities, additional duties and services. This can be things like professional development, staff meetings, lunch bus duty, or sponsored events. Again, there are other things that you need to do to be a supportive colleague in the building or staff member. Just understand what those are and be sure that you're consistent in effectively doing them. Assessment and data collection. This is just basically accuracy, reliability, and confidentiality, but again, it's something that we will definitely focus on throughout the year. Principle number three, responsibilities to students. This is about preserving the rights and dignity of students. One big part of our curriculum is culturally responsive teaching, which focuses exactly on this aspect. It's also about maintaining boundaries between professional and personal relationships and understanding how language, body language, as well as interactions that happen outside of class periods, how all of that needs to be, a clear distinction needs to be maintained between professional and personal relationships. Lastly here, maintaining a safe learning environment. This includes physical, emotional, and intellectual aspects of the learning environment. This also means being very mindful of not leaving the classroom unattended, and that while class is in session, all 25 plus of those kids on your roster are fully your responsibility for that time period. Principle number four is about responsibility to school community. And this is basically just effective and appropriate interactions with parents, colleagues, community, and employers. This can include a lot of different things, from hygiene to punctuality, but it's important to understand exactly what's expected of you and what both appearance, punctuality, and interactions mean to your administration. And lastly, responsible and ethical use of technology. I think it's important to understand that now is the time to separate social and professional online profiles. Do it now before school starts, because it's understood that students are going to be curious and they are going to investigate. And so take care of whatever social media aspects you might not want to be found out. Get rid of them. Take care of them. Put them in a private place. But that is a component of your professional identity now, of separating the social from the professional. I just want to reiterate here in this next session, you will be hearing from our program director about the teacher quality standards. And as you're doing so, keep in mind that what we just went over with the Code of Ethics for Educators is very closely aligned with what you're going to see on the teacher quality standards